In this video, we will cover the human side or the staff side of making the switch to a digital system. Many owners, many administrators want to make the switch to digital, to an eMAR, to a note system that's digital, but they just are very, very scared of if their staff is going to be able to use it, what the staff's morale will be like. Will they be upset? Will some threaten to quit? I know that's a very common thing throughout the industry, so we wanted to just take some time to cover that. So this is going to go over some of the emotional things that happen during a switch, some of the operational things that happen during a switch, and then some of the cultural things that happen. So the first is emotional. The best way to help your staff make a transition is to tell them before you bring Alcomy to them or bring a digital system to them. That helps them get used to it. That helps their mind wrap around the fact that they're going to be learning something new. You also want to tell them that even though there's going to be a new system, this is not going to take their job away. Many administrators fear that if there's a system that automates parts of the documentation or audit or administrative portion of the documentation, that it will replace their job. That's just not the case. It's a tool for them to help them. And the other thing is just having empathy. This will be a change, and change is difficult for humans in general. And so acknowledging that, telling them that you understand how they're feeling, because I'm assuming as an owner or an administrator, you're feeling the exact same way. You're a little bit nervous, but it's okay. And everyone can acknowledge that it's okay, and that, you're feeling certain things, and then you can get past that. So the emotional factor is huge. Those are the three things that we have found work best for that. The other thing is operational barriers. So the first big one is muscle memory. Most staff have been doing documentation the same way over and over and over again for, up to maybe even 20 years for some of these caregivers. So the first thing is getting them used to doing something new. It's going to be hard for them to unlearn going to the paper, grabbing it, putting their initial on the MAR, those types of things. And so just getting them into Alcomy, having them practice. We have a period of time where they can just use the system without having to be specific and precise. It's going to be all erased later. So this is a practice period where they can just type things, put their initial, get used to training the muscle memory. We all know, we've all experienced in our own lives, the more you do something, the better you become at it. The next thing is just workflow and going through the different workflows. Staff typically do three major things in Alcomy. They document the MAR, they do shift notes or progress notes, and they document care. So like bowel movements, blood pressures, behaviors, activities, outings, those sorts of things. And so just teaching them the simple clicks. For most of the things in Alcomy, it's 1, 2, or at most 3 clicks to document those. So just teaching them the clicks that they need to do. Again, it's 1 or 2 typically. And then the other huge part of this is teaching them why. Why are you documenting the MAR? Why are you documenting notes? Oftentimes the staff get burdened with all the documentation that they have to do. And you as the owner administrator understand it has to be done for state purposes. It has to be done for family purposes because they're going to ask about these things, but the staff don't often know that. So make sure to tell your staff, why are they doing the documentation? And then the last thing is what we call burn the boats. So what you're going to do once the staff has practiced using Alcomy, you're going to, on a specific day, take away the paper. You're going to say, okay, this is the last day where we're going to document on paper. We're going to take the paper away, and Alcomy is going to be our official documentation platform. So anybody who is trying to document on paper won't be able to, because the paper won't be there. If you take the paper away, there's no fallback, and they're going to be forced to do the documentation on Alcomy. And force seems like a hard word or a difficult word, but you as the owner know that this is benefiting your business, and it's going to in turn make your business more streamlined. So it's okay that for a week or two, the staff feels like, oh man, this is something new. This is a little bit hard. It's okay, because in the future, it's going to benefit you. The last thing is the cultural dynamics of how an onboarding process typically goes. There's going to be what are called champions. So these are individuals who learn the system, they're quick to learn it, they start teaching other people. It doesn't even have to be the administrator, or it doesn't have to be yourself as the owner. We do a lot of trainings with staff, and the administrator can just kind of take a seat, and one of the staff members is like, hey, I'll show you how to do this. They're talking with their fellow staff. They're in the trenches with them each day. They understand what it takes. And so they can share and talk with other staff. And I know that, different demographics of staff are present. There might be older Filipino ladies. There might be younger African American people. There might be middle-aged white individuals. So every cultural demographic might be there, and find the one person who can help everyone out. Again, there's also going to be resistors, people who have been doing it for 20 years, people who think they can't use a digital system. They're going to voice their opinion. They're going to share that they can't make the transition, that they might want to quit if you make them do it. Those people, over time, will start to realize that Alcomy and a digital system is benefiting them. Everyone around them starts to learn it, even if it's, maybe 2, 3, might even be the majority. But those people, once they see the benefit, will start to realize, hey, this is actually beneficial. And then again, going back to staff training staff, administrator training administrator, you guys can talk amongst each other. The best way to learn something is to teach. And so the more that your team interacts and talks about Alcomy and teaches each other, the more you'll all learn. So those are 3 important things when dealing with champions and resistors. The last part of this is, how can Alcomy help? There's 3 main things. We have a dedicated customer success team who is in-house, who does the trainings, takes the calls. They have experience transitioning hundreds of facilities at this point, whether it's a small 6-bed or some even up to 150 beds. They can make the transition successful, as well as this team will also play a role in bringing the eMAR information and bringing the documents over, so that can be helpful. The second thing is we have a help library. So the help library is a library of videos and instruction guides on how to do certain parts of the application. And so that is built into the application. So as soon as they need to see a video on whether it's the eMAR or how to do a note, anything, that will be accessible and you can show that to them. The third thing is role-based viewing. And what that means is the staff can only see what you want them to see inside the application. Every staff member will have what's called a role, and that will dictate what they can see or not see. So they are not going to be clicking into portions of the system that they don't need access to. This also helps prevent a lot of additional clicks. They're not having to accidentally go into a document section where there's forms about a resident, because they just simply don't have access to that. And then the third thing is what is called a HIPAA compliant geofence. This is where if the staff are using the device in the facility, whether it's a phone, a tablet, or a computer, a lot of owners and administrators have worries about them taking that home with them, causing disruptions in the documentation if they're disgruntled. So that will totally erase that, because as soon as they walk outside the facility, it will shut down. Hopefully this has been helpful. Again, we understand transitions can be difficult, but the outcome and the benefits far outweigh the work that it takes to make the transition, and we're just here to help. Again, we have a team who can help. We can go over with your administrators, if they're going to be the ones making the transition, go over some of these things, teach them about, the interaction between the staff, teach them about some of the psychology behind change and why it's typical for people to be upset about it. So we're here to help, and hopefully this has been helpful, and you can get some information from this. Thanks.